The European Union continues to chase its impossible dream of crushing Russia, even as the reality delivers one gut punch after another. While the US President Donald Trump is advocating for peace, Brussels and its loyal followers remain hell bent on escalation, dragging Ukraine and themselves deeper into chaos. The calls to put an end to the disaster are growing louder, yet the EU remains deaf, blind, and stubborn. Instead of reconsidering their failing strategy, they are doubling down on absurdity, floating ideas of deploying European troops to Ukraine. But here's the catch: Europe is running out of its own soldiers, and yes, sir, we are not kidding anymore. It is happening in front of their very own eyes. A massive manpower crisis is unfolding, and the Czech Republic is leading the charge by leaving the battlefield even before stepping foot on it. According to the Czech Defense Minister Jana Sarnokova, fears of being sent to Ukraine have triggered a mass exodus from the Czech military. The numbers tell the story. Since the escalation of the war in 2022, army resignations have surged 40% annually. In 2024 alone, 1370 professional soldiers decided that they will rather quit than risking their life into a war of no means. Before the start of the Ukraine war, departures typically ranged from a range of 80 to 1000 per year, but now the number is skyrocketing to new heights. The soldiers are increasingly wary of endless speculation about potential deployment. For some, the war in Ukraine is the reason they left. Sernokova admitted in the Senate debate, acknowledging the impact of fear and uncertainty in the military morale. Not everyone, however, buys this reasoning. The former military psychologist Daniel Strobel has dismissed these concerns, suggesting that any soldier who quits over deployment fears was unfit for duty anyway. In his opinion, the real soldier behind the outflow isn't fear, but frustration. Soldiers aren't leaving because they are afraid to fight, but they are leaving because they have nowhere to fight. He argues that the Czech army thrived on missions in places like Afghanistan, and without similar international engagement, many troops feel they have no purpose. What a genuine good reason, but absolutely it makes no sense. While the Czech soldiers are abandoning the ship, their president, Peter Pavel, seems to be determined to steer the country straight into the flames. Pavel has been vocal about his willingness to send Czech troops into Ukraine, not as fighters, but as the peacekeepers in the event of truce. In an interview with European Pravda, Pavel emphasized Czechia's role in the so-called coalition of the willing, a group of nations discussing the potential peacekeeping operations in Ukraine. According to him, if a ceasefire is ever reached, Czechia's role will be among the first to send troops to stabilize the region. Predictably, this position has sparked heated debate within the Czech politics too. Interior Minister Vít Rakusan stands firmly behind Pavel, while the opposition leader Andres Babis strongly opposes any military involvement in Ukraine. Even the critics argue that deploying troops, even under the banner of peacekeeping, will be nothing but to escalate tensions, and it will push Czech Republic deeper into a conflict it has no business in. Despite EU's war-fueled ambitions, its own armies are crumbling from within. The European leaders talk big about sending troops to Ukraine, yet their own soldiers are walking away unwilling to fight for a cause they don't believe in. The Czech military's manpower crisis is just the beginning of a much larger problem that is brewing across the continent from the last 2 years. With the soldiers refusing to enlist, military spending skyrocketing, and recruitment efforts failing, Europe is waking up to an inconvenient truth. Their grand plans to defeat Russia are little more than a fantasy. If this trend continues, the EU's war effort will collapse. Not because of Russia's firepower, but because there won't be any willing soldiers left to carry it forward. The reality is setting in, but the question remains: will the European leaders accept it before it's too late?